Yes guys, it's FPL Guy here, and welcome to the team selection video for Matchday 5. Just before we get into that, let's just take a quick 30 seconds and review our Matchday 4 team. So overall, not too bad. Let's see how many points. We got 59 points, so this is decent. Not the greatest, but it's an alright week. Alright, so let's start with Melee. The first game on Denmark vs Wales, I had Melee captain. If you follow me on Instagram, I even posted about that. And my final team, I had Melee captain. My final last minute decision was to change it to Immobile. I don't know why, I just thought I'll go safe and change it to Immobile. Obviously, it didn't work out. If I had Melee captain, what a start to the week it would have been. But nevertheless, I'm still really happy with Melee and everyone who had him. Great pick, and even great pick for the quarterfinals. And okay, apart from that, most people went Immobile, and then the next captain I put was Sarabia. So Benzema and Sarabia, they had the games on the same day. Everyone was going for Benzema, so I decided why not go Sarabia? He's been playing well, good fixture. Let's take a punt on him, and it turned out to be pretty good. He got 7 points. He scored a goal. Came off early though, which was disappointing because he was one of the best players on the pitch that night. And then later on that night, Benzema goes and gets 2 goals and gets 10 points. So really happy with them. Although I did want Sarabi to obviously do better. So then at the end I decided, okay, Forsberg's gonna play. Why not take a punt on him? He's been playing good against Ukraine as well. Not the best defensively, so I went with him and also returned 7 points. He was very, very unlucky. If you captained him, we were very unlucky. He could have had a hat trick, hit the post once, hit the crossbar once. So honestly, he was on for a hat trick, but it is what it is now. On another day, he might have gone a hat trick. But overall, fairly happy. Oh my god. Torres. One thing before we move on. Torres, okay? On my Instagram, once again, I mentioned there's no way he's going to come off the bench and get another assist. Because that's what he done against Slovakia, and I left him on the bench. And then against Croatia, I said the same thing. I was like, no way he's going to come off the bench and score. Get assist. And look what he does. He does exactly that. So overall, not the best week. Could have been better, but I'll take it. Just before I talk about the specific players that I'm going to be bringing into my team, I thought I'll go through the fixtures and specific players and the key players from these fixtures, which may give you some idea for your own teams, some differential picks, or some of the key players that you could look out for. So first, let's talk about Belgium and Italy, right? So against Portugal, Belgium didn't look the greatest, and especially with Hazard and De Bruyne out for the quarterfinals against Italy, I really wouldn't be investing in their players. If you already have the likes of Lukaku or Meunier, then then you can keep those, of course, but I wouldn't stack more Belgian players on top of those. I think if you already have them, then keep them. If you don't have them, then I wouldn't really suggest going for them. For this fixture, I think it's going to be tight, but I think Italy will come out on top and go through to the next round. And talk about Italy, there have been many sources suggesting that Berardi could be benched, with Chiesa taking his place. So that's something to look out for. For the Switzerland and Spain game, I think this is a great fixture to target, especially the Spain players. So we have the likes of Simon, Ferran Torres, Laporte, Sarabia, Pau Torres as well, Morata. As long as they start, we'll have the lineups before the deadline, so we can obviously see which players are starting. And I definitely think there's going to be a lot of goals in this game, especially coming from Spain. So this is a key fixture which I'll be targeting personally. If you have a feeling about Switzerland scoring as well, then there's pretty much just two, in my opinion, key players which you can look out for. One being Shaqiri and one being Zubair. Both of them are playing astonishingly well. Zubair is getting really high up the pitch, getting a lot of crosses into a dangerous area. So those two guys, if you think Switzerland will score, I think it will come from these two. So these are the players which I would target if I was to pick some Switzerland players. Okay, for the Ukraine and England game, I think this is a great game to target England's defence. Especially if you're on a wild card, you could double up on the defence and potentially get one of Sterling or Kane for this fixture. I think England are going to make it really, really tough for Ukraine. They're going to find it really difficult to break England's defence down and get a goal. So a clean sheet is definitely up for grabs for England. If you are on a wild card and you want to take an outside punt on this fixture, then the only real player I'll be looking for if you want to go with someone from Ukraine is going to be Yarmolenko. He's the key man in that team, so that'll be the only player I'll go for from Ukraine. Okay, for the Czech Republic and Denmark game, I'll be mainly focusing on the Denmark players here, but talking as a fixture as a whole, we have the players like Mele, Dolberg, Damsgaard, Schick, Sufal, Suchek. These are all players which you can target, especially the ones I mentioned first. So Mele, Dolberg, Damsgaard, and Schick. Uh, I would focus more on the Denmark players as I think that they'll go through. They have a better chance of going through because I think defensively they're pretty much equal, but attackingly I feel like Denmark's a lot better. Also, Poulsen, he was out in the previous game because he had a minor injury. If he's back, then he's also a great shout for this game. So just before we get into my selection and the players that I'm looking at, if you've liked the video so far and found it useful, please drop a subscription, sub to the channel. I'm only 3 subscribers off getting it to 100. So if you liked it, then please subscribe, drop a like, it will be really much appreciated. Okay, with that being said, let's jump into the players that I'm looking at. So as I mentioned in the last video, the most logical thing to do is to remove the 3 most valuable players when you're making your 3 free transfers. So for me, it would be Wijnaldum, Benzema, and Depay. Okay, and the players that I'm thinking to replace them with is, so firstly, we're going to go with Dolberg, assuming that Poulsen is still out. I think Dolberg is a great pick. In the previous game against against Wales, he scored 2 goals and he even got subbed off early. So that might have been a rest for him to then potentially start in the Czech Republic game. If Poulsen is still playing, or if Poulsen is back, then we can go. So that's one combination I'm looking at. So Torres and Kane. Because we'll know the Spanish lineup before the deadline, we can see which players are starting. So the other combination I'm looking at is instead of Kane, going for Morata, and then instead of Torres, we go for Sterling. So obviously they're both English and Spanish players. It's just a different combination. Personally, I prefer this one, Sterling and Morata over Kane and Torres. But both of them are really appealing. So drop in the comment section which combination is better. So that's pretty much the 3 key players I'll be looking at. Poulsen or Dolberg, whichever one plays or whichever one is fit to play. And then this other combo here. So with those 3 free transfers, I now have 11 players who have qualified to the next round. So the only problems are I have De Bruyne, who's not going to play, is not fit enough, and Berardi, who I said that may get rotated with Chiesa. So what I'm thinking to do now is to remove Varane, and then going back to the fixtures, in the order of most likely of clean sheets, it will go England first, and then Spain, and then Denmark. That's the order in which it's more likely to get clean sheets. So if we go back up, instead of Varane, I'm thinking of replacing here with either Stones or Maguire, since they're the most nailed on from the English defence. I just have a feeling that Stones is going to get a goal or something from some set piece over Maguire, which is why I picked Stones. Maguire is also a great shot. It's literally a 50-50 between them. So I've gone for Stones there. So that gives me, assuming that De Bruyne and Berardi don't play, that gives me 10 players on the pitch, right? If Berardi starts or even comes on, then we'll have 11 players, assuming that everybody else is playing too. So that is pretty much what I'm looking at. Poulsen, Morata, Sterling, Stones for -4. I'll have 11 players with Berardi coming in or playing. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at the moment. So let me know, which combination do you guys prefer, out of Sterling and Morata or Torres and Kane? Let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions as well regarding your own teams, drop them in the comments. I'll be replying to all of them, and hope I can help you guys out with that. As for the final team, I'll post that over on my Instagram tomorrow before the deadline. So if you haven't followed me on Instagram, the name is on the top of the screen. So go check that out. I post a lot of stuff there regarding my team, some key stats. So hope you guys find that useful. So we'll wrap up the video here now. If you guys enjoyed this video, you found it useful, found it entertaining in any way, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Many more good quality videos to come, so why not drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Apart from that guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.